Life has always been normal for Clary Frey. She goes to art classes at Tisch. She has to navigate life as a teenager living in New York City. And she also spends some time with her best friend, Simon. But on her birthday, things get a little chaotic, and not necessarily in a good way. One little incident and one thing that she's probably not supposed to see sends her into a spiral of seeing things that should have remained unseen to someone of her background. Or so she thinks. Clary Frey meets these people called shadow hunters, and they basically keep the peace between the mundane world and the down world, which is, suffice to say, the world of vampires, werewolves, fey creatures, and warlocks and witches of the like. If you know the book I'm talking about, that's going to be what this episode of Book Talk is going to be about. Today we are going to be talking about Cassandra Clare's City of Bones, the first book in her Mortal Instruments series. If you like young adult dark fantasies, sort of like that of City of Bones, then you may like my debut novel. Arborea Lux is a paranormal dark fantasy filled with vampires, demons, and also some mystery and some romance. The book follows the story of Lux, who wakes up in this essentially dying world, and she is drawn to one place that is just filled with social discourse. She doesn't know what she is or what it means to be an Asterblood, but she's basically going on instinct. And her instincts tell her that she needs to find out what happened to the last Asterblood before her, the twin sister of the one who saved her life, Silas's sister, Luxia. You meet a lot of characters along the way. You meet some of Eldric's family. You meet the Crown Prince of the Morgensterns himself, and it all encompasses in what essentially is a mystery and the discovery of a conspiracy to basically ruin the entire social structure of the royal estate, which in one instance could be a good thing, but in this case it is definitely not. If you guys are interested in my debut novel, I will leave the Amazon link for Arborea Lux down in the description below, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But for now, let's continue talking about City of Bones. Whew. Cassandra Clare does a very good job in making frustrating me with the amount of emotions in all of her books and everything. I felt it with this city. I felt it with the Mortal Instruments series. I felt it with the Infernal Devices. I'm feeling it with the Last Hour series. It's a little bit of a stretch. I've not read Dark Artifices yet, but I hopefully will be getting those later. But first, talking about City of Bones and everything, City of Bones is the beginning of the adventure, especially for Clary. She finds out so much stuff in the span of like 24 hours, and in all that time, her mother goes missing, a family friend basically is not who he seems to be, and she figures out that everything she basically had lived with was technically a lie. Clary, with the help of Jace, a shadow hunter that she meets, along with his Parabati, his basically fighting partner, Alex Lightwood, and Alex's sister, Isabella. I think it's Isabella, or is it Isabel? I've not read this book in so long, but it's like the plot is still so fresh in my mind. It's just like I can't not talk about it. Along the way and everything, to figure out what's really going on and who took her mother and everything, Clary basically learns so much so fast about the world being a shadow hunter. and it's found out that she actually is one. And along with that learning and everything, she grows exceptionally close to Jace, and some romance ensues, but it doesn't go all the way. No. Of course, she gets in a few good times to sort of be, she sort of gets some of her own cool moments. But the one problem is that she is basically, she's the same age as Jace and everything, but she has so much to learn in order to catch up, to find out what happened to her mother, to find out why this person named Valentine is after them for some reason, and also more importantly, what the Mortal Cup is. That's one of my favorite things about Cassandra Clare and her writing of this entire Shadowhunter World Series, is that it has such a deep mythology. But if you look at it, it actually has it's your run-of-the-mill like angel versus demons, and then you've got the that gray area where like all of the downworlder creatures are. But at the same time and everything, it's like it's such a unique twist on the entire good versus evil thing. Because in this world, it is actually very possible to be a supernatural bystander. You have creatures that would actually be very helpful to either side of the battle, but they don't do anything. They truly stay neutral. Well, not entirely true. I mean, like, you do have the ones that favor the good side and some of them that favor the dark side, not meaning to sort of catapult into the upcoming Star Wars Day and everything, but that's basically the gist of it and everything. Cassandra Clare's mythology is so inspiring, and I would be lying if I said that I didn't sort of take from her book and like her style and her way that she does mythology, her world mythology from my own book. But it was a very good read. I must have read it like probably 15 times when I was in high school, because heavens almighty, it was such a good book. And that was actually the beginning for me to, just be like a collector of books and everything. I have most of her books. The only series that I don't have of hers is the Dark Artifices and the Shadowhunter universe. And I don't have the newest book of the Last Hour series. But like the entire storyline is just so cohesive. Because while I did say at the beginning of this video that City of Bones is the beginning of the story, it's the beginning of the story for Clare. It's not the beginning of the story, period. No, that story, the story at a whole starts out with Clockwork Angel that is at the beginning of the Infernal Devices series. And I think I'll be talking about that trilogy of books as a whole, just because it's like, it's so good. It's so good. That's probably one of my more favorite series and everything. I've actually got all of her books on a shelf up there. So it's a very good series and everything. And I love just the way she does it. And Cassandra Clare is like, she does her research, and she does really, really, really good stories. I just love her books. And for Cassandra Clare to write such like inspiring fiction for young adults and everything, it definitely inspired me to become a writer. And I will admit that I was exceptionally surprised when a number of years later they actually decided to make the Mortal Instruments City of Bones into a movie. And that movie was actually very, very well done. The only thing that I would say that I have a problem with is that you only understand it if you've read the book, and that in itself is just sort of wrong. Don't get me wrong, they had a wonderful cast for the entirety of the movie. but the small details that are in the book that they didn't put in the movie were actually sort of crucial. Um, and it's technically only like the little one detail and everything, but yeah. But hey, I definitely recommend the movie, but I also recommend the book series too. I'll leave the link for the City of Bones book in the description, and also the movie in the description too, because it's so very good. Well, to me it was very good. It didn't do really good in box offices, but they did make a Shadowhunters TV series that actually I believe follows along with the series of the book, with the series of events in the books and everything. I want to say that they finished it off right, but I may be wrong about that. I've still never seen the show. I want to see the show, but I still have not seen it. But I believe that's all I can technically say without spoiling basically City of Bones and the entirety of the Immortal Instruments series. Specifically because in the Mortal Instruments, it's such like a diverse world, and it doesn't only stay in New York the longer you go about in the series. I mean, like, you get to go to the Shadowhunter country, you get to go to, you basically go all over the world in this thing. But it's like, it's so diverse, and you also see new villains. It's very, very diverse, and it's very, very, woo. It's just, woo. Okay, so, ugh. Remember how I told you that Ellie Rain has the habit of like literally making me scream, why the heck didn't you do this before? Yeah, Cassandra Clare has those exact same powers of invoking those emotions of frustration, but it's such a delicious frustration that you have to continue the book. You have to see where it goes and everything, where it ends. And I would be lying if I said that I didn't think it was just, it's just, whew, I will say this kind of like delicious exhaustion sort of burns you out for a little bit. But it's such a good series and everything, especially for anyone to start out with if they're starting a dark fantasy or paranormal fantasy and everything, because it's so good. And how Cassandra Clare does everything in the Mortal Instruments series and everything, I definitely like to consider as research for this next book series that I'm working on. That's the sequel to Arborea Lux. But I'll get to that here in a few minutes. I'm still going to gush a little bit about City of Bones. And the thing about City of Bones and everything is that for me, it was a very influential part of my reading journey. I mean, like, look at the wear and tear this book has. Look at it. I mean, like, this is probably one of the oldest books that I have that I've read 15 times, and it still looks to be in really good condition. The spine's a little broken, but at the same time, it's just, Now this is like some of the original art for it and everything. This is some of her original artwork. I think she's changed the covers now because of it wanting to reach a new generation of readers. But it's like I love the fact that I got these covers and everything, because it's like I think these are like the first edition covers, and it was yeah. Wow, this came out in 2007. I did not realize that. At the beginning of the parts and everything, she also has like at the part one, she has a quote here from John Milton in Paradise Lost. I sung of chaos and eternal night, taught by the heavenly muse to venture down the dark descent upon and up to reascend. And that in itself is like so deep. And I want to say she's got some for the others too, but I'm not going to spend an entire video looking at it and everything. But yeah, she's really, really good at like picking just the right quote for the beginning of the different parts of her book and everything, and it's just it's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. But that's all I have for this video and everything. And now to talk about this new writing project I'm working on. As you know, Arborea Lux is my debut novel. It is available on Amazon, and the series and everything takes place several generations after the events of Arborea Lux. It takes place in a modern world, sort of. It still takes alternate history to a new extreme, and in this world and everything, it's full of modern technology, but there's still sort of a semblance of magic. But the entire story begins with a mysterious prophecy recited by an oracle, and then a fire that starts mysteriously in an orphanage, and the death of a beloved one for one of our main characters. You have just like this semblance of mystery, this semblance of like wanting to do right by your family. You have like this urge to like go and make sure that your family is all right. And you also have, I will say, some semblance of a romance. Don't get me wrong, this book series, just like Arborea Lux, is not all sunshine and rainbows. In fact, it actually is, for most of the series, sort of dark. As true of a paranormal dark fantasy, but I digress. The main character, Zyla, has to deal with betrayal, and just like this denial that the one she's looking for is not the person that she used to know from all those years ago. And our other main character, Phoenix, has to deal with coming back to a place that he thought he would never have to come back to, and is also sort of given a mission by a very mysterious woman to look after and protect Zyla. And let's just say that the two sort of butt heads there at the beginning. The name of the series is called the Seraphim series. The first book will be called Seraphim Awakening, the second one will be called Seraphim Sanguine, and the third book will be called Seraphim Requiem. And Seraphim Requiem is going to wrap up the entirety of the trilogy, and it is going to basically be the big fight that was hinted at by the Oracle in the first book. But I won't say any more about that. That's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and everything, and making it all the way to the end. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like it, please subscribe and ring that bell for more notifications. If you want more updates on my writing journey, or for just my life in general, you can follow all my socials down in the description below. And please share this video with anyone you think may enjoy it. My goal for the channel is that by the end of the year, my subscribers reach 100. It's a very small goal, but to me, it would just be so influential. It would inspire me to keep going and everything. And with this big life change that I'm about to go through right now, I really need all the support I can get. Specifically because I'm wanting to become a full-time content creator alongside being a writer and everything, and it would be a dream for me. It would be a dream come true for me. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and for just loving my content the way you do. So yeah. This has been Kat the Crow Winged Author, and have a very wonderful day.